COVID-19 has been the greatest catalyst for digital transformation, or DT for short, that the world has seen, with companies now accelerating adoption of these future work practices that have been discussed for many, many years. Now, digital readiness is no longer optional, it is a must. And indeed, often in times of crisis, that these kinds of seismic shifts take place. As SMEs look to survive in this challenging business environment, it is time for us to relook at how we're going to make these changes. I'm Jared Rutnam. Welcome to the nation. Joining me in the nation is Azlan Fazli Mustafa, Azlan Fazli for short, the Managing Director of Kumpulan Aplikasi Sempurna Sendirian Berhad. Now, we're going to be talking about the importance of digital transformation for SMEs. I'm sure you are lost too. A lot of people are lost. I'm lost with regards to digital transformation. But we're going to get an insight on what it's like for one of the biggest industries in the country, SMEs. Azlan, thank you very much for joining us. I've been reading your biography, and it says Azlan, like Azlan, the King of the Beasts in Narnia, my favorite movie. Yeah, but having said that, thank you very much for joining us. Now, we've been through a lot. The country has been through a lot with regards to COVID-19. Some people call it the pandemic. Some people say COVID. Whatever you want to call it, it has changed our lives forever. What has that change been for you?
All right. First of all, thanks, Gerard, for inviting me here. It's my first time being at this stage, so I hope that I can do justice to it.
Right.
Right.
A lot of people say they do justice to you, but they don't. But really, don't worry about it. We're so happy that you're here.
All right. Thank you. So, COVID-19 has spurned a lot of opportunities, or I think in terms of digital transformation for businesses around the world. And as SMEs, we should quickly adapt and react to the situation that we are having right now, because I don't think that before COVID, many companies realized the importance of being working remotely available, and having that readiness is paramount to businesses to perform business as usual operations.
Let's dial back a little bit to what your business is. So your company is called Kumpulan Aplikasi Sempurna Sendirian Berhad.
Yes.
Now, what does your company essentially do?
All right. So I'm the founder of a technology startup company. What we do is that we are very focused in assisting businesses, SMEs, to be specific, to go for digital transformation. So we help them in terms of transforming their traditional operations to digital. And aside from that, we also have a startup venture called Pickers, and which is an online platform for high-skilled gig workers. So it's a bit different than other freelance work platform out there.
So, seeing as to what you do and what's happening now with the change in the way we live and the way we do things, your company is very integral in coming up with systems and disciplines for SMEs to move to the next plateau, so to speak, or to move to the next level. Now, did you have to learn that, or do you have the know-how and expertise to do this?
Okay. As a background, I'm an ERP consultant. So I have 14 years of experience in IT consulting. So when I founded the company as a business, I told myself that we need to go digital from day one. So at that moment, we were handling a lot of freelancers in our business. Because when we do projects for our clients, we always engage with freelancers. At one time, we have like over 100 consultants that we are dealing with. And payroll is a headache. How do we manage them? So from whatever things that we want to do, we need to come up with a problem statement. So the problem statement that we have was, how can I manage these people easily right from my mobile phone, in a way. So I was a one-man show at that time. And then that's why I said I need to go digital from day one. So we found a tool to manage all these freelancers. What we do is that they can, when we want to engage with them, they can submit their CVs directly through an online platform. We go straight to my mobile phone, and I can then interview them on mobile as well.
So if we're going to summarize this, what you essentially do is get companies to work through their mobile phones, or get people to get into the culture of working through their mobile phones. Yes and no?
It's a mix. It's a mix, because if you are always on the go, yes, mobile would be a really good option for person who's really moving from one place to another on a daily basis. But digital transformation just shouldn't be on on mobile platform itself. It needs to coexist with what's happening at the office as well, right? So what we did was we built. No, it's not that we built. We customized a back-end solution that can integrate with the whole ecosystem that we
So it's a customization of a back-end system, which we're going to talk about shortly. I also want to talk about data and how simplistically, we look at data like as though it's a buying nasalama. Okay, let's get all this data, put it together, and put something out there. But it's more than that. Learning about data and understanding data takes a lot. We're going to take a short break. We're going to dig from him more information about SMEs and how they get onto the digital bandwagon. Thank you very much for staying with us. This is The Nation. I'm Jared Ratnam. We'll be back shortly.
Pelanjana Semula Ekonomi Negara atau Penjana adalah satu daripada inisiatif kerajaan untuk menjana ekonomi negara. Penjana, strategi keempat pelan pemulihan ekonomi jangka pendek negara dalam menangani cabaran pandemik COVID-19. Bertemakan bersama menjana ekonomi, ia membabitkan 3 teras utama, iaitu memperkasakan rakyat, melonjakkan perniagaan dan merangsang ekonomi. Terdapat 40 inisiatif bernilai 35 bilion ringgit akan dilaksanakan di bawah penjana. Untuk maklumat lanjut, sila layari laman sesawang berikut.
Thank you for staying with us right here on The Nation. I'm Jared Ratnam. We are speaking to Azlan Fazli, the Managing Director of Kumpulan Aplikasi Sempurna Sendirian Berhad, talking about the importance of digital transformation for SMEs. Now, before we go back to what you're doing and talking about your digital transformation journey and how you want to help SMEs, let's talk about data. Now, because I work in media, everyone talks about data like there's some subject matter expert, and chances are not many out there know what they're talking about when it comes to data. Even me included. We're still learning. We're still very much just scratching the surface with regards to data. And I like to quote Ashran Ghani here, the ex-CEO of Magic, who's now with Datel. He says, "We think very simplistically of data." Well, what do you think of this?
Okay, my personal opinion of data is that in order for you to have a really good data, you need to make sure that the recording of the data is in place. In terms of, okay, what do you do to record the data? In what form do you record the data? Either it's through the activities that you perform on a daily basis, or is it from the data entry that you make on a daily basis? Because data analytics people will always say that, okay, if the data is garbage, then whatever results that I'm giving you will be garbage as well. So it's garbage in, garbage out. So in order for anybody to have a really reliable data, the point of recording of those data needs to be accurate.
Right. So if you were to give a tip or piece of advice to SMEs wanting to transform digitally with regards to data, what would that one piece of advice be?
Okay, take example. If let's say a restaurant business who has several branches, they want to see their what daily revenue in terms of because for the day. So if they don't have a proper way of tracking all this data, then they won't be able to analyze or come up with a report or maybe perform some analytics to help them to make better decisions. So what I can advise is that they need to have a proper maybe a proper POS system or that can
Okay, for those of us who don't understand what that acronym was, what is PO?
Point of sale.
Point of sale.
Point of sale. The things that you do at the cash register, right? The things that you
Right.
key in
So
the cash register.
that's called point of sales.
Yeah.
Right.
And to have this point of sales feeding data back to your back end system, which is typically a proper accounting system.
The back end system, the guys who are stealing your money.
So when you have such system, then you'll be able to, let's say, churn out a report on the go.
Right.
It's real time, and business owners, top execs of companies can just make decision in the go. So as an example, maybe as for myself, in the morning, what I do every day, I woke up. Okay, after setting up all the things at home, I just open up my mobile phone and just go to my dashboard.
So
in the morning.
the most important here is with digital transformation, what you're telling me is that it should make decision making fast
Exactly,
and
yes.
easy. Yeah.
Yes,
Now,
yes.
your journey with wanting to help SMEs, how's that been, or how is it going?
So we started the journey earlier this year, actually. So we focus on these three verticals, mainly HR, accounting,
Okay,
and
three verticals.
CRM,
HR, accounting.
and CRM.
Okay.
So because we believe all these three verticals correlate with each other. Let's say for every business, you do have your contacts that you need to manage, whether you are in a B2B business or you're in a B2C business. You have your customers, you have other businesses that doing business with you. So for that, you need a CRM. So you go through your sales and marketing activities pipeline until you invoice or until you transact with your audience in a way. Then it flows to your accounting system. Right? So with your accounting system, of course, it will be the single source of truth, whereby all data needs to fit into your accounting system. So that is the concept that ERP softwares are doing, whereby finance will always be the core module of
So
such application.
ERP softwares or the ERP software is now the buzzword within the industry for SMEs.
Yes, in a way, but of course, when we mention ERP, SMEs are normally taken aback because they realize, or from what they know, is that ERP will cost a lot. But actually, if you know where to look for and which tools or software that can help them in their areas of business, you might not need a full-blown ERP at all.
We're currently speaking to Azlan Fazli, the Managing Director of Kumpulan Aplikasi Sempurna Sendirian Berhad. You're with me, Jared Ratnam, on The Nation, and we're talking about digital transformation for SMEs. Now, we'll get back to ERPs and why companies are scared of that, but we need to do that very quickly. Now, because I work for the government, I want to get into something governmental and a move by Penjana, which is the Smart Automation Grant.
Yep.
Now, what's this all about for SMEs?
Right. So due to COVID, I think many businesses have been affected because they are not ready. Okay. So when MCO happens, you can't go to the office. Finance can't run payroll. People are getting their pay late, salary delayed, and all just because of their finance can't go to the office to do the processing. Right. So I think one of the Pencana initiative would like to address is that they would want companies out there to start to embark on their digital journey. So MDEC as the government agency has been mandated by the government because they do offer two different grants. One is called the Digital Automation Grant. That is meant mainly for first-time adopters for digitalization, and that's about 5,000 ringgit per company, right?
Is the take up high with regards to this?
I would say yes, but then the amount is too low. But I guess the reason is that is meant for first-time adopters. So when they realize about this, so then under Penjana, they included this new grant called SAG, Smart Automation Grant, which was just announced. It was announced last month, but it was launched last week. So it is a 50% matching grant for any companies who are embarking on their digital journey, and with a maximum of up to 200,000 ringgit. So this is a pure grant being given by the government to help out businesses.
Okay, without wanting to say nice things about the government, is this a feasible plan? Is this a workable plan? Or is this just something that's just being rolled out? Let's see what happens in the end. What in your opinion is this plan? Is it good, bad, not so good, can be worked on? We've got about a minute and a half before we take the next break.
Okay, I would say this is a very good initiative in a way, because first thing is the amount is considered very good, not just like 5,000 ringgit. So even when we announce this or when we advertise this to our potential prospects, customers, everyone was like, okay, we need to do this now because there's help coming from the government. But because like I mentioned to you just now, when we talk about digital transformation, the first thing that businesses will think about is how much will it cost me, right? So
of course you have to weigh all these things. You have to put all these factors together before you even embark on.
Yes, I agree to that. But then the mindset is a bit different between SMEs and enterprise businesses, enterprise companies, because like enterprise company they do
We've got about a minute left, yeah?
What needs to be done, because they do have their budget for IT expenses, annual IT budget for them to run their IT operations.
Right.
But for SMEs, IT is considered just okay, we need this, but how much will it cost me?
So it's all about the
it's
all about the money.
So mindset needs to be shifted a bit in a way.
Right, we're going to take another short break. When we come back, we'll find out what ERP is. It's not a new rap band, but it is got something to do with the digital transformation for SMEs. We're going to find out what it is and why are SMEs shying away from new technology, where we're going to be talking a little bit more about that. We've got about 7 minutes left. We'll come back just after a short break. Stay with us.
Tiada menerima kad e-sensus daripada Jabatan Perangkaan Malaysia.
Terima kasih.
Kini, beta telah mengisi e-sensus. Bersamalah kita menjalankan tanggungjawab demi kesejahteraan rakyat dan pembangunan negara.
Welcome back to the show. This is The Nation. Jared Ratnam speaking to Azlan Fazli Mustafa, or Mustaza, sorry.
Mustaza, yes.
Sorry. Managing Director of Kumpulan Aplikasi Sempurna Sendirian Berhad. Now, you spoke about companies or SMEs shying away from digitizing or getting into the digital sphere. why is that? What is the big problem here? They're young people, they're driven, what is stopping them from embracing digitalization?
Short answer, first answer is cost. Number two, maybe they don't have the idea on how to embark into one.
Right.
Right. So I would like to
Take some water, bro. You need some water, yeah.
I'd like to go back to that Penjana initiative, from the SAG grant. So SAG doesn't just provide grants for companies to embark on such a journey, but they do also offer programs for businesses, companies who don't have any idea on what to do with their on digitalization. So in a 7 weeks program that they can, because the first thing in going into digital is that you need to understand your pain points. What are the things that you want to address? Maybe you are saying that, okay, my suppliers are sending my supplies.
Okay, so saying, okay, I'm going to stop you here. Saying if I'm an SME
Yeah.
and I don't want to embrace digitalization, will I be able to survive in years to come?
I would say yes, but very difficult, because everyone else is doing it, and if you don't adapt to change, you may be the next Nokia, next Kodak, who knows?
Right.
Yeah.
Next Nokia, next Kodak. I don't want to go there, but let's come back to ERP. So we use this acronym, and just so the viewer understands what ERP is, what are we talking about here essentially?
So in a nutshell, ERP by definition stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. Is a business software that is being used by companies to run their business operation. Popularly known ERPs are like Oracle, SAP, NetSuite. So what it does is that it combines all the modules in your company, like finance, procurement.
So there's not only one
sales.
brand. There are many different brands offering
There are
the
many
same.
different brands that are offering similar solutions, right? So the concept is the same, but maybe what's inside there are different. And of course, there are top one, tier 1 ERPs, tier 2 ERPs, and even tier 3 ERPs. And there's also ERPs for...
So when you talk about ERP, essentially it's a new system. People need to get on board and understand it. Now, saying if it's an old fuddy-duddy like me, although I look 25, I'm about in my 50s now, people like us who've been running businesses for a long time, and you come and tell me we need to look at ERP and inculcate it into our systems, will it be easy for me to get in sync with something like this?
Yes, because the main point of ERP is to combine all the different areas of your business into one, so that you'll be able to churn out reports to help out with your analysis and decision making process. So I think all business owners or top management of companies need to
So
consider.
will there be a training process or an interim where you learn how to use the system?
Yes, of course. And if you're talking about tier 1 ERP, the cost will be quite costly. But right now, with the emergence of SaaS solutions, cloud-based solutions, there are a lot of things that you can do. Some of it are free, and we can do integration between one application to another. And when you do that, let's say right now I'm doing digital marketing. I have one tool to send out newsletters, to collect the contacts, and I may want to integrate this with my CRM, and later on, once I acquire this customer, I want to pass it out to my finance department.
Right.
So when you have a solution or an application that will be able to integrate with different application, in a way you are achieving that ERP-ness of
You're positioning yourself to be ERP ready.
in a way, even though if you don't have ERP, but you do have you use tools that are integrated with each other, in a way you're
embracing ERP.
Embracing
already.
ERP.
I'm going to ask you one last question. I'll give you some water first. And this
Thank
last
you,
question is your advice to everyone in the SME world from here on in. Now, we're at the point where the moratorium is going to end. Things are going to probably spiral down a little. There's an elephant in the room and let's address it, okay? It's going to get hard for you and me, and for especially those kais pagi, makan pagi, which are essentially SMEs. Now, what would be your advice to all of us who are in this mess?
Okay.
We've got about 2.5 minutes left.
All right. Well, MCO happened. Who knows when MCO2 gonna happen again? So because if it's a real MCO, businesses will be go into lockdown and so on and so forth, like what we experienced before.
Right.
So if we don't quickly embrace digital transformation, I think we'll be left behind, because who knows? I mean, moratorium won't be extended anymore. Government has run out of funds to offer reliefs and assistance to those who are affected. We take example, the Philippines. The president has announced that the government has no more money to help their countrymen, just because they don't have enough resources to do so. But are we confident enough to say that Malaysia has more reserves, more funds to help us when MCO2 happens? Right. So with that,
10
I would
seconds
say
left,
that digital transformation is a must. It shouldn't be treated as something that is being forced on you. We should really start doing it now.
Start doing it. So
Yeah.
it shouldn't be something that's forced on you, but it must be something you think hard and long and get into as soon as possible. We just spoke to Azlan Fazli Mustaza, the Managing Director of Kumpulan Aplikasi Sempurna Sendirian Berhad, right here on The Nation. Thank you very much for staying with us. Stay with us right here on Bernama TV for more updates. We've got news updates coming throughout the day in many different languages. In the meantime, I'm Jared Ratnam. This has been The Nation.